Hey. Welcome to episode 98 of Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. Today I have the honor of talking with an incredible creator. I've known him for some years, but I've never really been able to ask like for an extended period of time where he gets his ideas and how he creates this amazement. And beyond that, he's been extremely adaptable in life. And I think adaptability is something we all need at this point in our journeys. So I'm just so excited, and I have to admit I'm nervous because I want to do this right. Do you ever get excited and nervous at the same thing? At the same time about the things you most want to do? For me, I find they go hand in hand. But this conversation isn't going to be about being excited and nervous. So without further ado, let me bring on my guest. But first this. Nope. Nope. Take one. No, no, take two. But first, this.
Today's guest, Steve Bormes.
Hey, welcome back to episode 98 of Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. Let me tell you a little bit about Steve. But first, let me ask you a question. What do you do when life throws something extremely challenging your way? Consider this question, please, as I read Steve's bio. I've known Steve Bormes for years. When I think of Steve, I think of someone who is extremely good-natured, an excellent storyteller, an avid and brilliant creator, a kind friend. What I did not know until I asked him more about his life is that Steve has chosen to be extremely adaptable. Of himself, he says, I think the thing I'm most proud of over my life is being adaptable. For example, in high school, Steve was a gifted athlete, but 26. Yeah, you heard that way. 26 knee surgeries later. The knee surgeries, the 26 of them, have necessitated that Steve now base his career and identity on athletics. So check this out. Steve's careers have included being a communicable disease specialist, a certified arborist, a Turkish carpet dealer, and an artist. Steve says, I think the main reason I've been able to be successful in creating businesses that many would charitably call unlikely to succeed is that I tend to be a very disciplined person. So please help me welcome Steve Bormes to Awkwardly Awesome Podcast.
Thank you, Jason. And Jason's World.
Yeah, welcome to my world, and I'm excited to share more of your world with my audience.
Cool,
Thanks
cool.
for
Me
being
too.
here. How are you doing today?
Everything's going my way, Jason. I'm in my studio. Sun is shining. Music has been blaring until now. I've got a skip in my step.
Nice. What music have you been playing?
I was wondering if you would ask me that or not. I just looked at the top two CDs on my player right now are Lee Scratch Perry, one of the original Rastafari and reggae producers from way
Mm,
back. And then also the Drive By Truckers. Those are the
mm,
top two on my
mm.
stereo right now.
Sounds great.
Thank you. I wish you were
Could
here to
I?
play.
What?
Yeah. I was going to say, I wish you were here doing the podcast, but we're doing all right here. It's my first Zoom ever.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for spending it with me.
My pleasure, Jason.
So could I play a video real quick and see what you think of it?
Please, let's check it out.
Yeah, since you've been playing music, I thought I might as well play a video.
Between you and I, we can do it all, Jason.
Yeah, we can do it all.
Here goes.
So, get it back, get it back, get it back.
I recognize this one. This is my big show at the Pavilion, the Deep Sea Imaginarium from just a few years back. I had 101 pieces in the show. And Isaac Show and Wes Eisenhower took their drones inside to film it. So that's what we're going to be watching now.
Thanks for introducing it. Okay, stop screen share. Stop sharing. Cool. So Steve, I wanted to show that video right away because we could have spent the whole hour trying to describe that, but I mean, it's so beautiful and so beyond this description.
Thank you. Thank you.
So so when you were a kid, did you ever think you would be creating art shows that were so magnificent?
I think, no, I never thought of it like that, Jason. But when I was a kid and someone would say, what do you want to be when you grew up? I knew 100% what I wanted to be, a hippie millionaire. And so I was totally confident that my brother wanted to be a doctor. I know guys, they want to be whatever, a meteorologist, a nurse, all these cool professions. I really wasn't into that. I had been to California and I'd seen hippies and long hair and choppers. and I knew I wanted to be a hippie millionaire. So I've been after that quest the whole time. And actually, as far as art goes, I knew I didn't need to take any art classes because I wouldn't need that with what I'm doing. That's how I thought. So not only did I not think about this kind of stuff, but I'm self-taught. I didn't know any better. I wish I would have taken art classes, but I didn't take any after 8th grade.
Wow, wow, wow. I didn't know that. That's cool, and maybe that worked for your benefit. I
Yeah,
wonder.
I think some of it did, Jason. My majors were biology and math. And so I didn't want to be I thought, I thought I wanted to be a doctor at the time. And then I thought, no, I don't want to do that, but I've already got a lot of credits here. I'll just finish with what I have. So, and I didn't want to teach. So I graduated with biology and math degrees and went straight back home to Aberdeen. I graduated from University of South Dakota. I went back to Aberdeen where I grew up and promptly became a bouncer in the hottest bar in town. And so that was called the Lumber Company at the time. And we'd get like 600 people in line coming in that door. It was the hottest place in town. And that's what I did with my college degree. I went in there and I checked IDs and had fun and kicked people out at the end of the night. And actually, one night, this gorgeous woman walked up the staircase to come in. I ID'd her, and I tried to memorize everything on it right away. I hate to sound too creepy, but anyway, she ended up becoming my wife. So, my first wife. Actually, yeah, my only wife. Excuse me. So anyway, that was the best job I ever had, is the way I describe it. But I knew I couldn't stay as a bouncer forever, especially with my fancy college degree that I just got. And so I started looking around, reading the paper. In those days, that's all you had, a few want ads in the back of the paper if you're trying to find a job. And there was one for that was a door-to-door insurance salesman. And I didn't even know what it was, Jason. The ad just said sports-minded individuals. We're looking for sports-minded individuals. I'm like, dude, I'm sports-minded. This should be easy. So, and in fact, just aside, you might have to bring me back every now and then, Jason. I forget when I go on tangents. Get me back to my door-to-door salesmanship. But when you were talking about being nervous talking to me, I was thinking the same about you, even though we were buddies. I don't want to mess up your show or anything. But when I was an athlete and I thought, well, this is so cool in high school and I'm really good and this is what I'm going to do, I was always nervous before a big game. And in Redfield, South Dakota, I played at Roncalli. We went down and we were playing. It was in the second quarter. Excuse me, it was the first quarter of the game. I was playing, I was a sophomore. I was a little skinny guy. And we were from a small school. We're playing another small school, but they had a big stud. He was an all-stater. His name was Kyle Hansen. Kyle Hansen threw a nice legal elbow. In those days, you could throw elbows. It was a lot more fun to play basketball back then. But he threw a legal elbow and it hit me in the stomach and my eyes got big and I realized I needed to call a timeout quickly and nobody knew why. It was the first quarter. Why am I calling a timeout? My coach came running out on the floor and says, "Stephen, what are you doing?" I said, "Coach, I got to take a dump." And he starts laughing. He says, "What?" I repeat it to him. And he points to the locker room and goes, "Go take one." And so I run there. And as I'm in there, Jason, this is how nervous I am in the game. You know, I'm in there and I'm realizing, man, not only do I have to hurry and get back out there, there's no reading a newspaper or anything this time. Classmates start coming in the locker room going, hey, Skinny, what's going on? My nickname was Skinny. Skinny, what's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, get out of here, you guys, get out of here. Well, so they filter out, and by the time I'm done, I think the whole crowd knew what had happened because when I, and again, it's at Redfield, so we're away from home. When I walked out a couple minutes later, I can see everybody on our bench is laughing. All my teammates are laughing. And I got a standing ovation from the Redfield crowd. So that was my most famous moment ever in my sports career. I definitely needed to change careers. So anyway, that was I remember I had a tangent going back to door-to-door insurance salesman, and just think for a second of the hell that those words conjure up. Think of it, Jason. Can you imagine, like you meet me, we have coffee, I tell you how, I'll take you to the moon, Jason. All you have to do is carry this thing around, this loaf of funny papers, and knock on doors and sell people insurance. That I'll have to say it was the trippiest job I've ever had, but probably definitely the worst job I've ever had too. And that one, the very first day, we go to a meeting, second day. There's like 5 other door-to-door insurance salesmen and our boss. And I had no idea how I did on the first day, different than anybody else, good, bad, I didn't know. But I handed in my paperwork to him in the morning before the meeting, and we're in the Holiday Inn cafe thing. That's kind of creepy too, to find yourself in that situation, like in khakis and a polo shirt and going, oh my God, we're meeting and then we're going to go knock on doors again. That first day was so weird. So anyway, we get to this meeting and he says, I want to introduce you guys to Steve. And I want to tell you, out of all the guys I've ever managed, he's by far sold more policies the first day than anybody else ever. I sold 11 on my first day, but I
Wow.
hated the job. It was so weird, and I didn't feel like I knew what I was talking about. And I felt like the insurance company liked it that way.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
I wasn't very confident, but I was good, Jason. I had the highest sales for this particular manager on my first day, and we had a 1-week course before we started selling. I took valedictorian out of about 20 people, and I earned a $20 bill out of that. So these are
Wow.
highlights from my early days
Well,
in my
wow.
careers.
So that $20 funded the rest of your life, huh?
That was the beginning, I think. I wish I still had that. But yeah, hippie millionaire. You have to start somewhere.
so,
And it
so,
was, I'm sorry, Jason, it was just going to be hippie originally until my older sister hits me with, Stephen, hippies don't have any money. And then I realized
wow.
I needed to change it up, and I came up with an idea. So that's how it started. Yeah, the $20 was key.
Steve and I have an abundance to talk about here, but if any of you have any comments, feel free to chime in. It's just so fun to get your thoughts and your questions. Thanks.
Please do. Yes.
So there's so many ways I want to go in this discussion, but a question that immediately comes to mind is what would you say to someone who is pursuing something they are really good at, but that they don't love, like you could have had an awesome career as an insurance salesman, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Good question. What's wrong with me, Jason, that I didn't just stay there and become the insurance king, And to me, um, I'm all for. I want to back people up when they tell me what they're doing or what they want to do. I get so excited for them and try to live vicariously, and I throw down ideas where they could try and all this. And for myself, though, all of these careers and different, I don't know how to say it. I had a hard time finding myself. Um, Insurance, I think I tried that because I knew I shouldn't be a bouncer forever, especially with a college degree. And then when I did the insurance, I wasn't happy. Oh, and here's how that story ends. The dude, not only did I have to go to the state convention and to get us warmed up to go out and knock on doors in Pier, all of us, like 60 or 70 of us, we had to sing, stand up and sing If You're Happy and You Know It, clap your hands. And I just couldn't do it. I felt I was in my khakis and my polo shirt. I'm conforming and I never wanted to conform or something. I was starting to realize that I don't know what I want to do, but this isn't it. So I needed to bail. Jason. I don't think everybody should bail. I think the people who still have the job that they started back when I was trying to figure stuff out and I got out of college, they have something they call a pension. I know I'll never see one of those. It's foreign to me. I've never heard of anything like that. Money guys would come into me and say, hey, I can handle your money. I know I can put it here and we'll make you money. But my money, it's all around me. I don't have any money. My money is in everything I have. I bought, and it's just my brain. And I don't. If I didn't have my wife to take care of me, money would be a lot bigger concern for me, Jason. I don't want to know how much we have or don't have. I'm in my own little world all the time. It seems like a selfish place for somebody to be put, but I think my wife sometimes prefers it that way for me too. But yeah, as far as the jobs go, I didn't. Uh, that insurance job was not for me. But after that, I found a job I loved at the state health department, and I actually used my biology degree. I was a communicable disease specialist. The longest name for a job you've ever seen on a business card. And it was a business card, that the most stolen business card I think that there ever was. They would give me 500 of these business cards, Steve Bormes, communicable disease specialist, South Dakota. And my friends would all steal them. They thought it was so, they thought it was so funny and such a cool card. And so all around the country, when they meet people, men or women in a bar or whatever, they introduce themselves and they're handing them my card. So I think it was definitely the most stolen card I've ever had as a businessman. And I did that job for about 5 years, and that's where I started public speaking. And it was really fun for me, although I was super nervous every time I had to get up there. But it wasn't long. I got requested all around the state instead of just our little corner. And I started to really have fun with it and open up and not worry too much. And like you today, I'm worried, but why? It's Jason. We're just gonna chat. We hang out. We eat together. We chat. So
we chat.
yeah, and for me, Jason, I want you to. I've had all these jobs, and I don't know exactly what my message could be in life now that I'm 60 years old to everybody else. But I know my high school called me in to do for career day. Roncalli High in Aberdeen. This must have been, I graduated from high school in 1980. I suppose by maybe like 1995 or something, they called me and said, Steve, we'd love to have you for career day. And I thought, that'll be cool. I'd love to do that. And the teachers, I know lots of them, and it'll all be fun. So we get there, I'm excited. And again, the guy who always wanted to be a nurse, he told the kids how it was, and the guy who always wanted to be an engineer, he told, and the woman who wanted to be a doctor, she is now, and this is what she gets to do. And dang, I was starting to get nervous again because
Hmm.
I still don't really know what I wanted to do. I think I was in my, I had a tree business at that time. After communicable disease, for 5 years, I sold office supplies on the reservations of South Dakota, North Dakota for 5 years. Then I started my own tree business. That's when Ron Colley called me in. So I'm like the kids. Just, I know a lot of people know exactly what they want to do when you go to college and everything, but I told my personal experience. I'm like, you guys just chill. Don't worry so much about it. Work hard, get through school. And if you work hard, good things will come. But you can change careers. You don't have to be this, you don't have to be that. I've already
Hmm.
done all these things. I'm in my
Hmm.
fourth career. I'm a tree surgeon now, and I really don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Hmm.
Jason, that was almost 30 years ago. They never called me back for career day. Would I mess those kids up or what? I
Hmm.
don't know. I hope not.
Oh, but getting to the point of adaptability, you were role modeling for them that hey, you might have a straight career path, but you might not. You might have to be extremely adaptable to find what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly, Jason. Without me understanding that completely at the time, too. And now looking back, it's kind of cool because I did a bunch of stuff that these are unlikely career choices, let's just say, especially with the degrees you have. The degrees I look at, they're invaluable. Whether I use it or don't use it or whatever, these are the experiences that shape you. And here I am. And just because I didn't do it the most likely way, and these are really unlikely jobs, I used to get a kick out of people saying, "You're doing what? What are you doing now? Oh my gosh." I thought that was so cool. And I like to
Mhm.
tell them, wow, because it really did change when I changed careers. It really changed. And they're always kind of tripped out thinking, man, how? How do you do that? I don't really know how I do it. I have to adapt because the things I decided to do, there was really no one, most of the time, not really a pioneer there to show me, someone who could pass it down to me or something and I could learn from. I just kind of had to learn on my own. And not that that was a big burden. I like to learn. But for
Mm.
instance, when I had my tree business, I knew how to prune trees, but I wanted to become a tree expert. So I trained and studied for my arborist test. And now I'm a certified arborist or a tree expert, if you will. But when I did a business like that and I try to talk people giving me money for doing all of this stuff, and they have questions, I want to be able to answer them. And I don't want to BS them. I want to be able to answer them. So I want to be as good as I can in a field. And so for these unlikely fields where so many times people would be shocked, then what would happen is after a few years, we'd be talking and people would see, and they'd say things like, I always like this one too, at least you found your passion. Like they're almost jealous of me because I found my passion, but I'm kind of smiling inside because I think, I'm not sure what my passion is, and I'm just about ready to change again into a different career. Um, and as far as what am I going to do next, I never really knew. I never really planned it.
Mm.
I tried to stay open, and
Mm.
when it was there, I took it and took a chance. And that chance is, it's there a lot of times, and change is scary. But I also have great support with my wife. So a lot of these wild hairs, Jason, I was able to adapt knowing I have her there to support me until I can figure out a way to make this work for us.
It is wonderful to have support on our journey towards what we truly want to do in life.
Yeah, definitely. And with Tova, if you know my wife, like when I became an arborist, um, I'm out working hard and everything, and I come home and I see my arborist books are all out. Ah, my wife is becoming an arborist. She didn't
Mm.
sit and test for it, but she was definitely an expert and knew everything. It was so cool. She just loves research and things. And also, once I got done with my tree business, I started selling Turkish rugs, going to Istanbul and buying rugs and antiquities and bringing them back and selling them in America. Uh, at
So,
that time,
so just give us a flavor of how one of these transitions worked. How did you go from being an arborist to selling Turkish rugs?
you know what, Jason, is always real clear. Like I had to change now, and I never planned for the next day or just one day ahead. So I had work, and I keep going. I'm still kind of the same day, but when I had my tree business, I needed a new chipper. It was going to be like a $28,000 investment or something. My old chipper was shot, and I realized then, dang, my body is shot too for doing that.
Mm.
Was unbelievable physical labor. Um, we would eat like 7 to 8 thousand calories today, 7 or 8 thousand calories a day, and we had no body fat on us. When you see tree trimmers
That
working,
sounds really fun. I love to eat. That sounds great.
it was good. It was good, but it was hard on the body. And in fact, I needed so many calories when we were doing that. We would work until 10 o'clock at night with the headlights on the chipper, putting stuff in it, trying to get
Oh my
done.
gosh.
But at Christmas time, I got a notification in the mail from Domino's. Aberdeen's a town of only 26,000 people, but they've got a lot of Domino's fans there. I was one of Domino's top 100 customers for the year. They gave me a free pizza. Jason, it kind of sickened me because I realized I'm only one person. Tova wasn't eating this crap. And I was ordering it every night on the way home. That's we got our cell phones. That's what we used them for. Domino's, I need a medium pepperoni pizza stat, man. It would be there when I got home. I'd chow it just for the calories, crash and get up and do it again. But my body was giving out.
So you
So,
decided arborist work isn't for you. So, but
yeah,
then how did you take the leap into selling Turkish rugs?
that one, my mother calls me one day. My body is giving out, like I say. My knees are bad and my shoulders. And my mother says, Stephen, you need to come over to the house tonight. There's a guy named Hassan who's here in town from Turkey. I'm like, this is the kind of phone call you would only get from my mother. No, wait a second, Mom. There's a guy named Hassan in your house from Turkey. What's he doing? No, he brought rugs. He brought 100 rugs in his van, on and on. I don't know what the hell's going on, Jason, but we're going to go have some fun with my mom and Hassan. And Tova and I went there, and it turns out my mother met Hassan when she went to Turkey. My mother's a champion shopper. She brought 20 rugs home for her.
Champion shopper.
Each of her 8 kids got a rug, and each of her 9 stepkids got a rug, and then a few for herself too. And so that's how it started. Well, Hassan, a good Turkish salesman, will never forget this woman who bought 22 rugs from him. And so he came to America. He said, Carol, I'm in Aberdeen. Can I come to your house? Will you have a party for me? She says, Hassan, it's impossible. You can't be in Aberdeen. What does the sign say? He says, it says Aberdeen, Maryland. She said, Aberdeen, Maryland. It's a big country. There's a lot of Aberdeens. You're
Oh,
1,500 miles away. Anyway, Hassan came. My mom threw a party. Everybody in Aberdeen bought rugs from him. We bought 3 or 4 rugs. And it hit me that, dang, this would be fun. I love this art. We always had an appreciation for art in our family. And I thought, this would be cool. Hey, Hassan, where are you going next? He said, I have customers on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and Aberdeen. And I laughed. I'm like, well, it's a long ways to the West Coast. if you don't mind, I'll go with you for 1 month between Minneapolis and Denver. I have friends and family. Let's just hang out. I had enough bids for my tree business that it could take care of itself for a month with the boys. I had fantastic boys. They could run it. And that month turned into 20 years. That's a trip, how it happens, Jason. Hassan and I started driving around the country for 1 month to Denver to Minneapolis, and all of a sudden somebody in Phoenix wants to see us. Like, I'll drive to Phoenix. They have a little party. We sell rugs. We're ordering more rugs from Turkey. They drop them off in Charlottesville. They drop them off in Miami. We're going through the New Jersey Turnpike, everything all across America, through the Rocky Mountains, 25 miles an hour during snowstorms. You can't stop or you're going to be in, it's not safe. And my little Hassan is with me the whole way, just freaking out. Here, I'm 6'4", 250 pounds. Little Hassan is like, I'm going to say 5'2" or 5'3". I don't think Hassan is 5'4". But anyway, we were an odd couple. And I started to learn Turkish. He knew English pretty well. We got along well for 3 years traveling the country. But that was 60,000 miles a year and away from home almost all the time.
60,000.
It was too much. With a trailer and my Suburban, 100 to 200 rugs driving down the highway. Hassan, I taught him things like, Hassan, I'd wake him up. He was always snoozing. But a good Turkish soldier always sleeps with one eye open, he would tell me, which I understand is true. But I'd always wake him up and he would look. If he saw a Budweiser factory, then he would have to salute it. I taught him all these weird things about America that aren't quite right, but it was fun, and that was fun. Anyway, we had a blast. Then we started our store.
So, Steve, this question's coming to me. Do you think your out of the box approach to your career has helped you think outside of the box when you've created
yeah, definitely, Jason. You know, one thing I have in my mind with my businesses, I hate competition. Competition sucks because it's hard enough to sell as it is, man. If I got someone else selling the same stuff, I'm already messing with myself. So people would say, why don't you don't have to go to Turkey. You can just get these rugs here, and there's no real rugs here. I want the real rugs, the ones made by villagers on the loom. There's only one. It doesn't come in all sizes and colors. That's the one I want. That's what I want to give to Sioux Falls. That's what I want to do because I've seen it and I'm excited. And so that's what I did, and it worked. And only a small percentage of the people are looking for that product, but we found them and we survived, and they all got something and we did, and it was a blast. And we became accountable to the people in Turkey that we were buying from. These ladies in the village are so happy to see us. We're eating the best bread. How are they always making bread on the day we arrive, I wonder? Because we all became friends and family. But all of this stuff, again, Jason, now I'm in my own little hole. I'm in my own little studio every day. It's 20 feet by 20 feet by 12 feet tall. And what do I have to draw on? I don't go to the TV. I don't go to the internet to see what someone else is doing with a boat motor or a butter churn log. It doesn't make sense to me to do it. It's already in my head. My studio is full of crazy items that I buy along the way in Turkey, in Iowa, in wherever I go. I'm buying things that I want to transform into my artwork at some point. But I'm also thinking about the Hassan or Ahmet or somebody I met there and their funny life or how they wore their hair or whatever. And that shows up in my piece. And only a few people realize like that looks just like Hassan or Mustafa or whomever. So yeah, I think, and also when I'm making my things, I think I have to go search for my pieces. I'm a found object artist, so I have to search for
mm,
certain items. And I think,
mm,
God, if I want to make a mushroom, what could I use? And I think about wooden Turkish bowls. There's
mm,
tons of them, or different items like that. And also, in all of my jobs, the reses have incredible art. I hate to use blanket statements. Amazing, amazing artistry. Same with
who,
Turks. In the
who,
city, in the village, everywhere, the art is incredible. If you just make a simple little mortar and pestle, that would be enough for most people. No, the Turks have to carve a design on there and make it
mm,
beautiful, or make it out of copper or something phenomenal. So yeah, to see other people's art all like that, and their art is on everyday items. It's something I learned in America. We hang it on a wall typically, and I try to introduce my art in a different way. I don't want to compete. That guy had the
mm,
piece on the wall. That's a fantastic painting. And I love her pieces. I don't want to compete for space. I
mm,
need to put something here. I need to hang it
mm,
from a ceiling. So, yeah, I'm looking around all the time, and patterns in church. When the lady in front, oh, you're always going to see polka dots. I love
mm,
polka dots. I drill holes in things for a living. Polka dots are fantastic. You don't realize there's a little one here and it's graduating to a big one here, and it's this optical illusion. I'm totally
mm,
tripping out in church while you guys are all straight as an arrow there. I'm just lost in this lady's dress. Anyway,
mm,
she has no idea, but also I can still see the airport in Istanbul. They have
mm,
these beautiful patterns all over the place. And typically when I go in there, I have my glasses off and I see a different pattern. I can still see it. It had like 5 big polka dots, and I thought it was so cool, and I wanted to do something
mm,
similar. And I put my glasses on to get a look. It was 3 dots. And that's when I realized that it might be a bit of an advantage for me that I can't see too well,
mm,
because we're all
mm,
getting inspiration from other places.
mm,
And I hate to use the word copy, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm stealing things from everybody. I see little things, and I'm like, oh, I love that. I'm going to
mm,
stick it here.
mm,
And so when I have my glasses off, I kind of see a different world, Jason.
mm.
And it's fun for me to put them back on and see what was really there before I found an image that I could have never made or seen, uh, unless I have a sighted problem. My brother's
When,
an ophthalmologist, by the way. It's not a real good shout out to him that I can't see. Sorry, John.
when we were chatting before the show, you mentioned that there are several experiences in your childhood kind of got you fascinated and found art in an unusual way. Can you tell a little bit about how you would make things as a kid?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what we were chatting about specifically, Jason.
You were talking about making a jalopy and
Oh, yeah. Well, that's,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, in our house. Uh, it's so funny, in those days, I was born in the 60s, grew up in the 70s, and there were 8 kids in the family and no money. And so, but how do you know that as a kid? We want a go-kart, Dad. And I still
Mm,
remember Dad saying, go make one yourself. We wanted a tree fort, and we needed stuff to make a tree fort. And you'd see them on TV, or you can buy kits in the back of comic books. No, not at our house. You go, whatever you can find, you make whatever you want.
mm,
That's kind of how we did things. And also, Grandpa's garage, he had everybody's old vacuum, all the old telephones, all taken apart for wires and hinges and all sorts of parts that you would never expect. His shelves in his garage were full of that stuff. And everyone in his little neighborhood would come and ask Al to fix stuff. So he could do amazing things just with what he
mm,
had in that garage. So that was kind of
Mm.
our inspiration. And as kids with our jalopy, man, my brother Mark and my brother Jerry, older and younger, we went looking around. I still remember we found like a big tractor tire from something. That was the front wheel. We found a lawnmower with a 3.5 horsepower motor, super loud. It was mounted right behind a little fishing seat that we put on it. And the base of it was a piece of plywood, a sheet of plywood. That was our jalopy. And we have one photo of it somewhere. And Mark on the maiden voyage, you could walk faster than it would go. But it was cool, man. We loved it. It was the coolest thing. And it made us realize we can just make what we want. And
Mm.
I've been doing it ever
We
since
can
then.
just make what we want.
Yeah, whatever, man. It'll look a little bit funky or not. And, I have two sides to my art now. I have a Jetson side that kind of reminds me of clunking things together in our youth. And Flintstone side, which is kind of clunky and all this stuff we just cobbled together to make things
Mm.
work and decorate our bikes
Mm.
like whatever. And
Mm.
turn them into parade floats and just our imagination. Cops and robbers was always a game.
Mm.
But I can't remember where I was going with that one, Jason.
So you have a Flintstone side and
Yeah, and the Jetson side. That's what was Dr. Seuss. These were as a kid, when I was into art, that's what I was into. I didn't realize it was art. But when you see my stuff, I have a spaceship that looks so refined. You wonder, what is he using? It doesn't look like common household items because it's so refined. But I also have that Jetson side. And if you stick those two together, I swear that's where Dr. Seuss came from, who, by the way,
mm.
is possibly the best architect I've ever seen.
Mm.
Revisit Dr. Seuss's books, all those funky houses on the top of
Mm.
those little
Mm.
mountaintops and things. But after that, Jason, I blew off art. I didn't need it anymore. I wasn't interested, I thought. I was still taking it in all the time. Our folks took us to museums and Washington Pavilion type places all across the nation when we went on our Winnebago vacations. And so, yeah, art was always in the background. And that's where I find myself today, maybe for the last 15 years serious, and now full time. Every day I come in and I look back, I'm 60. It's kind of a trip to realize, Jason, when I started thinking, when you're asking me, how did you do this? This is a lot of different jobs. And I keep saying I was the best at this. I was the best. I did this. I was their best salesman. Does that mean success? I don't know. I don't know for sure if
Mm.
that's what it is.
Mm.
Not really, because I wasn't happy yet. I tried it.
Mm.
I'm like, dang, I'm good at this. I'm good. But it wasn't what I wanted to do yet. How are you going to figure that out?
Mm.
I don't think you can figure it out just by hanging on the couch. I think it's easiest just to go out and do it. And that door-to-door stuff, that'll make you figure something out. You're gonna do. That was a good job for me. It probably
So,
transformed me more than any other job, actually.
so we've had so many good comments, and I've been flashing them up, but Carol says I love Steve's enthusiasm. He built a sculpture for the Mother's Healing Garden in the Doapa Cemetery. It's absolutely beautiful.
That's so nice. Those ladies are amazing, Jason. They make me blubber. I blubber easy, but they came in and they asked me to make a piece honoring all religions or
Mm.
lack of religion. And
Mm.
especially like in South Dakota, so many are Christian and Native American. And both. How? I asked that question years ago to my friend in Wagner, South Dakota. She said, I'm Catholic and Lakota. I
Mm.
said, how can you be both?
Mm.
She says, easy. There's so many similarities,
Mm.
except With Lakota, you learn your future right away. With Catholic, you just have to pray and hope and wait and wait. So that was the explanation I got years ago. But it didn't seem like a real question to me. We've always grown up like this. Our friends at Roncalli, native Catholic, maybe. I don't know who everybody is, really. I never thought too much about it. Growing up at our house, it didn't really matter who you were invited to the table. We didn't ask those kind of questions first. So when the ladies, that's a tough one for me to talk about, Jason, because these ladies all lost a child. And when they asked me to make this piece, it was so intimidating because I can't fathom that. And also, I'm not an expert at any religion. I love all religions, except for the exclusivity parts. I hate to say it. A lot of them just like, we're going along so nicely, and then we hit that. Oopsie. Then I just have to step aside a little. I want the happiness. I want the good parts of for everybody in life, and that's what these ladies wanted. And I think it took me 5 years to put that piece out.
Beautiful story.
I think everyone should go to that garden and just be there. That garden's phenomenal. And I blubber every time I get close to that garden. It's in the cemetery in Del Rapids. I'm not kidding you. You'll go now. You go tomorrow. And my piece is such a small piece of that big garden. It's the most powerful piece I've ever created. I'll just say that.
Carol says it's built with old church pipe, church organ pipes and other treasures.
Exactly. Old church pipes fashioned in the shape of the frame of a teepee, and barbed wire around the top holding it together. And then sitting on top of granite and a pendulum hanging down with a Muslim water urn.
Oh, wow. Gives me goosebumps. And Beth Wigdahl says, Steve is amazing. He made a sculpture in honor of our grandson, and it was beautiful and very heartwarming.
That little guy too, man. My inspiration comes from these places, children. And I'll show you, Avid is his name. Him and I made a trade. Wow. He was just a little guy when I met him. I think maybe 5. And Avid digs Chris Vance too. Chris Vance is a really groovy artist from Des Moines. And this one was kind of inspired by Chris Vance's type of work. But yeah, we made a cool little trade. And this is one of my prized possessions, definitely. And Avid's doing fantastic. He had to come down here, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 times a month, getting cancer treatments and all this stuff. And he'd come by the gallery in the studio and hang out, and he just turned all of us on. And the piece that I did for him is in front. It's on the patio of Remedy Brewing Company in Sioux Falls.
Oh, that's a piece you did for him. Wow.
Yeah, that's Avid's piece. I wrote a little poem for it too. I can't remember it now, but
on the back patio, eh?
Correct.
Beth says, you're making me cry.
Yeah, that happens, Beth. I make myself cry all the time too. I don't know what the deal is. But if you encounter me and you give me a hard time about crying, I'll just push you down. Just kidding. No. So yeah, here we are at this point. Most of the stuff I do is really whimsical, and that comes out of me. I can never stop making it, Jason. It's so easy. The tough ones are like for avid, for the mother's healing garden. Um,
Mm,
those I have to put more of my brain into it, and you're much more vulnerable, I think, and it makes my. I have to tip my hat to musicians and poets because their songs and their poems are really great when they lay themselves out there.
mm,
To me, they have to do it again and again and again to keep our interest. I'm glad I can keep your interest mostly with whimsy because I
mm.
know none of you want to watch me blubbering like this every time. So anyway, that's what I do.
It's
That's my game.
beautiful when you blubber. But I
I
have
guess.
a few more questions I wanted to be sure to
Sure.
ask you. One, 26 knee surgeries. 26.
Yeah, and I only have two
What
knees,
can you say
Jason.
briefly about that? Wow. 26.
It's a crazy number. In the old days, I think I blew my first knee out in ninth grade and got a big surgery. And then they started doing arthroscopic surgeries at the time. And at that time, they would pull a little cartilage out if they needed to and put you back in. You'd be running again within a few days to a week and competing. And dang, it felt kind of rough, but you could do it. And what we, it was medicine, early medicine. I want to compete. I want to get back out there. And so they realized years later, I'm sure it's more technical than this, but cartilage actually is a nice cushion between those two bones. And so to take it all out will end up becoming a big problem later. And now I've had 3 knee replacements as well. So I think I'm up right around, and a couple shoulder surgeries. I'm up right around 30 surgeries now. And Jason, keep in mind, I'm right about 30, but I feel like I could use 2 or 3 more right now. It'd be kind of nice to do some repairs as well.
Do you have pain a lot?
Yeah, my pain is constant. But
Mm,
and knees are great. It completely changes your quality of life, but they always hurt. I don't know how to explain it.
mm.
Something's connected to them that hurts, or whatever hurts. Um, but to me, it's I worry more about other people's pain that start having pain. It hurts me because they're not used to it, and it's concentrated in one area, and I can see them hurting, and I don't want them to hurt. But with my pain, uh, I don't know. It started so many years ago, and I just it seems really normal for me. I don't have to fight through it or take days off or just get some rest, stretch a little in the morning, get the kinks out, and go on with my life. But now, when we quit selling rugs a couple years ago, that last year I had torn a bicep away from my elbow and
Oh
also from my
God.
shoulder in a sculpting accident. And yeah, it ripped it from the elbow and the shoulder. So that was 2 surgeries to repair it. And
And
then I had
what kind of accident? A
a
sculpting?
sculpting accident. Yeah, one of my heavy sculptures was falling, and I stuck
Oh,
my hand out reflexively to try to stop it, and
oh
it just
God.
blew my arm out. Yeah, that was a tough one. And so I got that fixed, and it's good. But I also had a knee replacement that year, my third knee replacement. And then we thought, you know what? It might be the end of this career because these rugs are heavy and this is going to hurt my body again. Should we try something else? My wife and I, we have these little conversations and it takes like 5 minutes. Yeah, let's. She found a groovy job. I became an artist full time instantly. I love it. I'm here all the time. I love to produce. Rayfields is my gallery in Sioux Falls. They're so
Mm,
cool to me. It's just,
mm,
and I'm all by
mm,
myself now, which is really strange. But I love having people pop their head in the door. I don't know who is going to be or when. Uh, But again, Jason, it's a totally different lifestyle, and my body's still messed up. I still need some more surgeries. Sculpting is really hard on it. I bleed nearly every day, uh,
Uh,
just
uh,
by hurting myself in here with my tools and different things, and sticking my hand inside a motor and getting scratched. Or uh, remind me, please, if someone could comment, I need a tetanus shot. It's been a while. But anyway, I think it's going to be now. I'm 60 years old. I know I can't keep carrying on like this forever. I have
mm,
so many things I still want to get out.
mm,
I'm hoping I can produce for 5 more years or live for
mm,
5 more years, what have you. And then I want to write. I know that's how I'll finish when my
mm,
hands still work and nothing else does. I got a lot
mm,
I want to write about too. So that'll take me to the end, I'm pretty sure.
mm. You could you may have a lot of years to wait, which
Yeah, I know. That's intimidating too. I think like that. Maybe I only get one story out. Maybe I have to write for 25 years. But I love it. I know you're a creative, and I know creatives out there understand. Just even if you're into gardening, I consider you a creative, or you work on your motorcycle, or the way you present your law case. That's what creatives are. It's not just the crazy art that you see or painting. So give yourself some credit in that area, and then keep all of us artists in mind for the things that you are unable to do yourself. Treat yourself. I used to think some of this was uh, really not a necessity, all these crazy artistic things or Turkish rugs or what. And then I realized, no, these are necessities. This is what makes your brain happy every single day. This is when I look at
mm,
an old rug, I can tell you so much about this old rug already just by the design in it. I can tell you so much about that weaver whom I've never met. Same with the painting. I want to look at the painting, Jason, before I look at the name. I want to know, I want to take in all I can. And then I'm
mm,
curious, male or female? I wonder who painted this. And I don't know, it's always a game to me. I don't really care about your resume, so to speak. And I never really did in hiring either. I didn't care about your resume. I don't think I ever read one. But if you would throw a word like I'm inclusive, ooh, I'm already going to try you. I don't need to read what you did in the past. I already know about this person. That's kind of how I felt. So I make a lot of, we all have first impressions about everybody. And I know a lot of them have to be like, this dude is whack when they're meeting me. But I'm making all of my first impressions too. And as I'm chatting with you, I'm gleaning everything I can out of you for my own pieces. And I'm going to put your personality or your hairstyle or your earrings or your polka dotted dress. I can't wait to get to my studio with you in a way. And actually, in here,
sorry, I
yeah,
didn't wear a polka dotted dress. I didn't get that memo. I'm sorry about that.
that's this. You'll see now. You're going to be fascinated with polka dots. All these ladies are going to think you're staring at them. Just say, no, a beautiful dress. We need more polka dots, Jason.
So we need more polka dots. So Tova, Tova, who you know, says, darling, there's no question you have 25 years worth of stories.
Man, yeah, that's true. Maybe I should start writing now. I don't know if I have 25 years left, but I definitely have 25 years worth of stories.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to read and learn from your books. It's going
Thank
to
you.
be fun.
It's a dream. I haven't done it yet, but I am pressuring myself because I really do want to do it. Excuse me.
So, so we're all getting towards the end here, but I always ask every guest this question. So in my work, I talk about the power of doing our imperfect best, and what it means to me personally is I look towards my best and envision it, and then I go for it, and then I make mistakes, and there's obstacles and yada yada. But instead of stopping and saying it wasn't a good idea, I try and learn from that and keep moving forward. What does doing your imperfect best mean to you, Steve
So
Bormes?
cool. So cool, Jason. I think for me, spreading sunshine, number one. All those jobs, I know I spread sunshine, number one, with
Mm,
everybody, with the clerk you meet in the morning at the gas station. Spread
mm,
sunshine, you're
mm,
already a success. And you're going to go to your job, and if you go to a job that you hate, I want you to try to find a way to change. That's
mm,
what I would recommend,
mm,
because if I would have stayed uh, bouncing my whole life,
mm.
uh, I don't have 25 years. Well, no, excuse me. If I would have bounced my whole life, I would have a lot of stories, I'll tell you. Excuse me, take that, scratch that. Bouncing is what I should have stayed doing my whole life. Then I would have been an amazing writer. There were always something funny happening at the bar. But really, it all adds up in my life. Success couldn't I couldn't tell you it's been based on money, or you would say, well, I just did the numbers here and it looks like you're not successful. Oh,
Mm,
yeah, don't do the numbers, man. You're hanging me up. I can't take the numbers. I don't want to hear
mm,
numbers. That's how other people judge success. But
mm,
I think
mm,
uh, I don't know if I'm successful. I don't know. That's a hard word, Jason. How did I get to this point? I did it by being adaptable and by working hard and being disciplined. I don't know the secret to happiness, or how do you know if you should change careers or jobs or not. Uh, I, if you have someone you can lean on, like my wife, that's key. Someone that can
mm,
help you. But I think I'm sometimes bad for people, or good. I don't know, Jason. When they come to me and say, here's what I really wish I could do, here's what I want to do, my mind is immediately on high, trying to figure out a way to help them realize that goal. Because if they didn't and they went to bed and they think, man, I wonder if I would have started that business, what could have happened? Instead, I'm still a bouncer. I never change. I wonder. Every time I wondered, I just did it. And
mm. Every
again,
time I
I'm
wondered, I just did it.
like, I'm going to
Wow.
do this. And imagine coming home like, oh, what's Tova going to say this time? Hey, honey, voice is up an octave higher. She already knows what's coming. We're going to change careers again. Oh my God, what is it this time? But so it's so cool though to be at this point. There's so many scary times thinking, how am I going to afford this? Where am I going to get the money? There were
Mm,
times when Hassan and I were on the road selling our rugs from house to house across America, and we're at the gas station, and I only have one credit card left with a little bit of room for gas. How am I going to get a room tonight? Oh man, I
mm,
call Tova. She'd find a way. I don't know,
mm,
Jason. I don't
mm,
know how we did it. Again, the numbers
mm,
and stuff don't work for me. I worked hard. I kept my head down. I strategized. If we didn't sell, it wasn't because the world hates us, even though they did. It wasn't because they did. I had to figure out a way. You need to put it in front of the right audience. Where are they? Who are they?
mm.
Cold calls, so many cold calls in all of my jobs, especially communicable disease specialist. A lot of cold calls to talk to clients. But again, all of it is a little bit scary. You and I were scared. I'm so glad I wasn't scared to call that timeout in the basketball game. If I didn't call that timeout, what would have happened? So we can't be scared, man. Sometimes you just got to call a timeout, and you got to take yourself out of that situation and just put yourself where you have an opportunity to be happy. That's what I would say.
There's an amazing tie-in to the story at the beginning. Amazing tie-in.
Thank you. And then here it is, Jason. I'll tell you this. I can't give you a lot of advice. I think advice is best when it's timely. So when we're somewhere and it's like, oh, I can help Jason right now, I'll tell you. The only good advice I really know that I have is always stop at lemonade stands. Every time you can, always stop at a lemonade stand.
Mm,
Beyond that, I don't really have good advice for you.
mm,
But
mm,
I want you to advise me. I'm still gleaning from everybody.
mm,
I'm the one that's lost. You guys are all fine. Help me.
mm,
But being lost is sometimes kind of fun too. You can see I'm not suffering. This is really fun for me to be lost
mm, mm,
and not knowing what tomorrow is. Or and here's the other thing, Jason. I don't know how to think any other way, but how I'm thinking, I'll be 65 soon. That's retirement age. It really means absolutely nothing to me. I don't understand the
mm,
concept
mm,
because I did it so differently. And uh,
mm,
uh, I don't care how hard anyone worked or didn't work to get where they are. I think it's all so cool that we're here, all of us
mm,
watching, wherever you are. So cool that you're there. Don't worry about where I am or where he or she is.
mm.
Just kind of, just do your best and ride it out, man. It's going to be awesome. That's where
Steve,
I'm
I
at.
know I've learned so much from you in the last. I've just learned so much from you from being able to talk, and I keep urging my the people who the awkwardly awesome tribe to ask the people around you the questions. Ask them about their stories. I kind of assumed we knew each other and I knew what
Yeah.
you were about, but I mean, and I thought you were brilliant before this, but now that we've dug deeper, and I know about you calling a timeout and then everything else, I just am drawing so much richness from your story. So thank you. You help me be more comfortable in my life, and I bet you're helping others in the awkwardly awesome tribe to be more comfortable being them. So thank you.
Well, yeah, it's cool for me, Jason, to see you in your role too, doing so great and using a speech impediment as a speaker. And like, this is brilliant, my friend.
Mm,
And
mm,
are you able to use it as a second language, so to speak? Like me, I've been accused of being a mumbler my whole life. But as a kid, when you realize, I don't know if they said Kirk or Kurt, just mumble his name. No one will know what you said. So it's like I just mumble it. And my mother would say, "I told you, I asked you, and you didn't say anything." Well, I did. I said yes. Well, I mumbled it. Mumbling as a second language. Sometimes you can get away with stuff. Maybe you've
that's
used that
fun.
throughout your life too. But it's really
That's,
fun for me
that's good.
to
Yeah.
see you having fun doing your thing and interviewing people and bringing out the best in them and just providing inspiration for people. You're spreading sunshine, Jason. That's my
Mm,
first rule of every day. You got that
mm,
down, man.
mm.
Thank you,
That,
my
that,
friend.
thanks, my friend. And to everyone listening, I encourage you to check out stevebormes.com because, I mean, what Steve creates will just expand your senses of what is not only beautiful, but what is possible. And it's just so amazing and it's great. I'm lucky. I live in a house full of Steve's work and I see it all over so far. So give you some yourself some of Steve's kindness and Steve's brilliance and Steve's creativity. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thanks, Jason. Peace, my friend. Bye-bye.
Thank peace. Oh, oh my gosh. I love interviewing people. It's so like Steve says, going on that quest, on that journey, on that awkwardly, wherever it is, on the awkwardly awesome journey to find what you want to do in life is so rewarding. And sure, maybe some of you knew when you were 7 what you wanted to do with the rest of your life, and maybe you're doing it, and that's great that you're following that path. But there's others among us who still don't know what we want to do completely when we grow up, and we're adapting and changing and trying new things. And it's not like either way is better than the other. It's just find your way, find your path, and doesn't Steve inspire us to do just that? What's coming up next week? Um, do a rehearsal on this. Next week, DJ Durante is coming up, and she just has a unique take on things that are present in so many of our lives, from disability to dealing with to helping people with mental illness. She's just phenomenal. So tune in next week. For now, thank you for tuning in. Your time is valuable. Thanks for being you. You're amazing. And go out and ask the people around you your new questions. Get them talking. They're full of amazing things. And as you ask them questions, hopefully they'll ask you questions because you're full of amazement too. Take care.